Torch, the Christian Sight Loss Charity. Torch News Extra Time. Reverend Neil Popham.
Neil, hi. We're speaking to you today because your church is actually the 200th sign up to SLFC, which is pretty exciting for us at Torch and hopefully for you guys as well.
Yeah, it's good for us too. We're glad to be there. We wouldn't mind if we were 199 or 201, but we're glad we're there.
Exactly. Brilliant. So how did you come to sign up as a sight loss friendly church?
We'd had a couple of people from church who have sight issues, and we've been trying to help them and doing some new sheets bigger and some things bigger. Then one of them, particularly their sight deteriorated a little bit and they really were struggling. And someone they met heard about the Torch group that meets in Milton Keynes. And they went along to that and they said it was marvelous, it was great, and it really encouraged them at a point when they were struggling. It really encouraged them. It was fantastic. And some of the resources that they had, this particular person said, oh, can I get some of these so I can use them at home? So we were looking at that and came into touch with you and found out about Sight Loss Friendly Church, and we thought actually that's what we need to do, because we were wanting to do it before, or we wanted to be helpful before, and we were doing our best, but we thought actually this would be really good because this would be a way of finding out whether actually we're doing it well or not, and using our expertise that you have rather than just relying on our own kind of common sense. So we might be able to get some good resources to help folk, and that was why we wanted to do it.
Brilliant. So what changes have you seen? What's happened as a result of signing up?
It's been kind of a bit weird because we signed up and it was only a couple of weeks after that we've been in lockdown and we haven't had any services and all those things. So we haven't really been able to put in place a lot of the things that we want to, be able to even have a good conversation about it. But actually it's been really helpful in the lockdown period because we have been sharing some things in paper format with some of our members that haven't been able to get things on websites, and that's been really helpful to think about how to do that well. And actually some of the resources, again, we've been using some more of the resources from Torch in that time as well. And again, trying to, I know that the Torch group in Milton Keynes have kept up in touch with their contacts, and that's been really, really important too. I mean, it's just one of those things that going forward, we do things like this for people who struggle with hearing. We have loops in church and things like that. And we just want to think, actually, if we're doing that for people who don't hear so well, actually, we want to be able to do those things to help people who struggle with sight issues. And just to be an ongoing thing that is in the front of our mind rather than the back of our mind.
Well, that's really good. So you've mentioned having some members of the congregation with sight loss, and I imagine it'd be a wonderful thing to think that you'd be able to welcome more people who are in your community but who may not feel that they can come to church at the minute. So is that something that you're sort of focusing on as a church?
We want to be able to be there for anyone in the community who wants to come in, and if they have additional needs that make it more difficult for them to access the building, we want to be able to do all that we can reasonably do to make that good for them. So if we put things in place so it's easier for people who don't see so well, we have a number of people in the congregation who have hearing issues. We have members of the congregation that use wheelchairs, and so all these things, it's something there. So we want it to be a place where actually you don't have to think, oh, but I have struggled with sight loss. Will it be okay to go? We'd go, yes, absolutely. We will do what we can. And if you need additional resources to help you, then we want to do all that we can to make those available to you.
Yeah. So, and obviously, as we've said, everything's very, very tricky at the moment to kind of get anything going. Have you been able to speak with the members of your congregation who have sight loss? Have they had any kind of reaction to the news that you're signed up now?
No, they were very excited, especially the person that, as I said, has connected in with Torch, and there's one or two other people who've been struggling, one temporarily and another on a more ongoing basis. But they've, they really appreciate that this is going on, that it's not just an afterthought and things. Because a lot of the time I find that people say, well, we didn't want to bother you when we started doing things with large print before. And I go, oh yeah, but it's a lot of work for you and we don't want to make extra work. And actually, I think saying this and being the church says to people, actually, if you need this, it's not a bother. If someone says, can you speak up? I can't hear you. We speak up. If someone says, I'm sorry, this is too small for me to read, then we make it bigger. And it's, don't not say anything because, it might be a bit of work. If you say, then we'll do what we can, and we can't, promise we can do everything, but we want to try, and it's not a hassle. So just say, because if you don't say, then we won't know.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I like you say, it's an attitude, isn't it? It's an approach to take. It's not a set of prescriptive rules. It is an attitude towards things, and I can't help but imagine that is the attitude Jesus would have himself.
Yeah, and I think that's the case. I mean, Jesus talked with all kinds of people, and a lot of those people were people that in that time were kind of on the outside, that people, actually, we don't really want to go and dealing with those people, but Jesus still did. And that's really important to us, that Jesus didn't exclude anyone that society excluded. If they wanted to be with Jesus and listen to what he wanted to say, then he was absolutely there with them. Whether that was a popular thing or not a popular thing, he did it anyway. And we want to say to that's our message, whoever you are, if you want to find out about Jesus, if you want that, then we want to help you do that. And that's really important, wherever you are, whoever you are. But this is one of those issues we think, actually, yeah, there are people with expertise out there so we want to plug into that expertise so that we can do it better, rather than just bumbling along as amateurs doing our best but maybe missing some tricks.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's learning the best practices, learning the ways to achieve these goals. This might be a difficult question at the minute with all the uncertainties and restrictions going on, but are you able to tell us anything about any future plans or hopes that the church has?
I mean, for me personally, this is how I'm. We haven't really had an opportunity to bring this forward as an entire church yet. But I'd like to be able to find ways and helping people to share things between church. So it's not just doing something so that people can engage with what's going on in our services on a Sunday, for example, but helping people to have access to resources to help them all the time in all their lives. We've got some of your very large print Bibles, for example, in one of our members. We've got some of those to her, and we've just received the next lot that finished the New Testament off, that I'll be taking around this week. And that is made because it's easy then to read the Bible. The person could do it, but she had been in a particular place and it was very difficult to do it. And so, but now with these resources, actually it's easy and you can do it whenever you like, wherever you like. And to keep those resources going, so it's not just an hour or two a week, especially, but that we've got that in mind for all that we do, to help people to with their lives every single day, and to give resources for those kind of things. It's like when we've been in lockdown and things, saying to people, not everyone has access to the internet, but there have been things that the Church of England have done about daily services on the phone, which is great for people if they're struggling to see. It's not things where you can listen to it on the telephone, and that's fantastic. So those kind of things I think are really important, and we want to try and keep doing that for a 24/7 life, rather than just thinking it's all about the couple of hours on a Sunday morning.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Have you been able to have any of the sight loss friendly training so far?
We haven't managed to do that yet, but I hope that we can do that soon. That's on the agenda for when everything gets back to slightly less panic stations. But I think that for me is the really key thing in all this, is access to the training, so that we are all, it's not just reliant on one person or a couple of people to do all this. This is something that we can share in, that we can share the expertise, and then more people know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and so it becomes part of the general culture, rather than there's a particular sight loss friendly church monitor who does it all. Actually, it's something that we write as an attitude of mind for everyone, that this is the sort of thing that that we want to develop and we want to allow. So for us all to keep an eye out for it, and to put in place the principles that we can do.
And just final question, what would you say to a church that's maybe heard about this, they're interested, but they've not quite made the leap to getting involved yet? Would you have a message for them?
I just think it's really important to get involved and find things out, because if we don't know, we're not going to do it the best way. And actually, there are folk out there who don't see as well as maybe some of us do, or as well as they did. And sometimes people don't like to admit it, don't like to talk to us. Actually, having this and saying we're a sight loss friendly church, encourage people to share if they've got issues, so maybe we can help. And we got access. We don't have to just think it all up on our own and try and reinvent the wheel for ourselves. We've got people there who know and have experience, and let's share that experience, rather than sort of ploughing our own furrow or paddling our own canoe and doing some things well but some things not so well.
Brilliant.
So
Thank you very
for
much.
it. Go for it. Do it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that honestly, that's great. Thank you. That would be excellent in Torch News. So
Because
thank
I just think it's not, it's saying we want to try this. It's not saying, we're going to be perfect and there'll be a guide dog for everyone as they walk through the door. We'll have a team of 5 there every week. It's not those bits, but it's saying that it matters to us. And if there are things we can do to make it easier for you, let us know, and we will do our utmost to do it, and to have the things in place so that we've got stuff routinely for so it's not a big surprise to people. What have we got to do? We've got these things in place, and just to be there for folk, because seeing how connecting with Torch and the Torch group in Milton Keynes, what that meant to one person in our church, it's been massive for them. They came back and they were absolutely buzzing when they went there the first time. They've only managed to go a couple of times because of lockdown, but they were absolutely buzzing when they came back. and they were so excited because it made such a difference to them. And we just want to say to people that it's out there. So if there's something near you, use it. And to say to if you have, you know, people with issues in the church, then look at, because there are people out there trying to help, and there is expertise out there. So get in touch with Torch, because they're really good.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That
Is
is
that all
wonderful.
right?
And it really is, and it, you know, it means a lot to Torch to hear that, because you know you like to think the things that you're doing do make a difference, and even if it's to one person, then it's worth it. So.
And it's one person at the moment, but actually, who knows what it will be like? But just to say to people, you know, that I know sometimes running groups, it's all very difficult, and you know, and you think, oh. But actually, I saw the difference that it made to one person, and that was, if I, you know, I've spoken to the people who are involved in the group on that, and I said to them, you know, it's made a huge difference, and I know it has. So, you know, you want to encourage people, don't you, that actually what they're doing in the hard work that people put in, that you put in, the people who organize your groups put in, it makes a difference. And just to say thank you to all the people from Torch who work so hard, because it really does make a difference to people. And so, you know, keep on with it, please, because it matters. And thank you very much, all of you.
Support Torch through prayer, volunteering, giving. Find out how at torchtrust.org.